Good day, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. This is just another update regarding Steve Lawson. It came out yesterday, October the 29th, and it's from the Roy's Report. So this article is titled Steve Lawson began his adulterous affair with women when she was a student at the Masters University Grace Community Church, pastor admits. And that pastor is Phil Johnson. So it says, Phil Johnson, a pastor at John MacArthur's Grace Community Church, stated 5 weeks ago that the woman with whom Steve Lawson had a 5-year relationship lived nowhere close to any of the ministries Steve served. Okay, and this is a photo that came out where you can see Steve Lawson and the woman. Obviously, her face is blurred out to protect her identity. However, when recently accused of lying, Johnson admitted in an email that the woman was a student at the Master's College in brackets University during some of the time that she and Lawson were engaged in this adulterous affair. Lawson, a former dean at Grace Community Churches, the Master's University and Seminary, and a teaching pastor at Trinity Bible Church of Dallas, was removed from his church in September due to an inappropriate relationship with a woman. Since then, there has been much speculation on social media regarding the identity of the woman and whether Lawson's affair qualifies as clergy sexual abuse. To date, Trinity Church, the Masters University and Seminary, and Grace Community Church have not identified the woman. Now, I personally don't believe that this woman has to be identified and exposed in public, because if she wasn't some leader in a church or a teacher at the university, then I don't see any reason for that. I'm sure her family, friends, church, elders, they will deal with this. Everything doesn't have to be brought into the public's eyes. Anyway, with Steve Lawson is different because he was a pastor and a teacher. He had a big responsibility. Let's continue. They also have not responded to questions by the Roy's Report concerning whether the woman whom Phil confirmed was in her late 20s was under the spiritual authority of Lawson, who is 73 years old. According to abuse experts, any sexualized behavior by a church leader or spiritual leader towards someone under their spiritual care, who by nature is in a position of less power and authority, is clergy sexual abuse. Texas has a law criminalizing clergy sexual abuse. California does not. On October 20th, Casey Staats, a longtime donor to Ligonier Ministries, where Lawson served as a teaching fellow and board member, confronted Johnson on X, previously known as Twitter, for his claim the woman didn't live close to any of Lawson's ministries. Okay, the woman that Steve Lawson had this affair with. In her post, Staats included a picture of Lawson with a woman purported to be the woman with whom he was involved, which had been posted on the Instagram accounts of Grace Community Church's college ministry. That Instagram post has since been deleted. Okay, and this is a quote from this lady Staats, Casey Staats. "It seems maybe you weren't telling the truth here," Casey wrote to Johnson. "This picture was scrubbed from the Crossroads Instagram, but the word on the street is this is the girl who was nowhere close to Steve's ministries. Care to confirm or deny?" Johnson responded that if Staats felt she needed more details, she should contact him directly by email or phone. Yeah, and that's the proper way to do it. Okay, so here's a screen grab of the post from Casey, where it just says, "It seems maybe you weren't telling the truth here. This picture was scrubbed from the Crossroads Instagram, but word on the street is this is the girl who was nowhere close to Steve's ministries. Care to confirm or deny?" And Phil Johnson, who said, what I said is true. If you feel you need more details or a further explanation, contact me directly by email or phone. I'm happy to answer legit questions. I'm not interested in using X to amplify an ugly scandal. And then email Phil at spurgeon.org. I think he's handling it in a pretty good way, Phil Johnson. Okay, and then 2 days later starts the just that. Okay, so she contacted Phil Johnson. I am the woman who posted on X today wanting to know if you were being truthful about Steve's young mistress not being close to any of his ministries. Staats wrote in an email she recently released to the Royce Report. If the young woman in the photo is, in fact, his mistress, she was apparently very close. Staats added, people are desperate for transparency in a world that gets crazier by the day. Whether Grace Community Church knew about this or not, there is much speculation that many there did know about this and did nothing. Do you want this rumor floating around social media if it's not true? Please help people understand that what exactly went on with 100% honesty and transparency. So the next day, Phil Johnson responded and appeared to confirm that the woman in the picture was the one involved with Lawson. The Roy's report is not identifying the woman because it is not clear whether she is a victim of clergy's sexual abuse or not. What I said is that she does not live close to any of Lawson's ministries. This is now Phil Johnson's reply. Obviously, given that they were having an affair, they were adjacent to one another at some point. So a picture of her sitting next to him doesn't actually nullify the facts of what I said. Yeah, that's true. Grace Church is in Los Angeles. Lawson was preaching at a church in Dallas. The woman Lawson was romancing lives in Washington State. What I said was absolutely true. And then in brackets, you publicly accused me of dishonesty before you even asked for that clarification. The point is that this was not a case of pastoral abuse as defined by Texas law. She was not a parishioner of his. Her family, who live in Orange County, CA, and are members of a church down there, were donors to Lawson's ministry and personal friends with him. And that is how the connection was made. On more than occasion, I suppose it should say on more than one occasion, he even stayed in their home while he was in California. She was a consenting adult in her mid-20s when the relationship began. She was also a student at the Master's College during some of the time that they were engaged in the adulterous affair. But her connection with him originally came through her family's relationship with Lawson and had nothing to do with her student status. Though Johnson denied Lawson was in a position of spiritual authority over the woman while she was at the Masters University and Cemetery, other documentation suggests otherwise. Until recently, the woman was also featured on the Masters University and Seminary's website, Alumni Focus. Okay, here's a photo of her face, blurred out to protect her identity. According to the webpage, which was deleted after September the 28th, the woman attended Grace Community Church as a child and returned to the area to attend the Masters University, where Lawson had a profound impact on her. Okay, so this is the details that was written on this website regarding this lady. The website stated, more than anything though, name redacted, her name obviously, says she was impacted spiritually by her time at the Masters University, getting to hear preachers like Steve Lawson or Dr. MacArthur on a weekly basis encouraged my faith and grounded my beliefs in truth, she says. Also, the post states that the woman graduated from the Masters University in 2018. This would mean that Lawson's misconduct went on for at least 6 years. Not 5, as Johnson stated in a now deleted September the 25th X post. The Roy's report reached out to Johnson via email to confirm the woman's identity and to ask how he knew her relationship with Lawson had nothing to do with his student status. Johnson did not reply to our email. The Roy's report has also confirmed that the woman worked at Grace Books, Grace Community Church's bookstore in 2021. We called and spoke with an employee at Grace Books today who stated that only Grace Community Church members are eligible to work at Grace Books. So the woman involved with Lawson apparently was a Grace Community Church member while the misconduct was happening. Here's a photo of Grace Books. I suppose one of these ladies are the women that Steve had this affair with, because all the faces are blurred out. Okay, let's continue. Johnson also claims in his email to Staats that none of the Grace Community Church elders knew of Lawson's misconduct with the women, as some have claimed on social media. Johnson adds that a Grace Church secretary told him after the scandal broke that she had observed some over-familiar behavior between Lawson and his mistress. This girl had straightened his tie and combed his hair in a public setting. However, Johnson said a woman took her concern to an employee of Lawson's ministry, One Passion, not to an elder at Grace's church. Okay, so One Passion Ministries is the ministry of Steve Lawson. As far as I can determine, no one who says they witnessed inappropriate behavior between Lawson and a woman ever brought any concern to our elders, Johnson writes. The Reuters report reached out to One Passion Ministries and asked if any of its employees heard a concern about Lawson from a Grace Community Church secretary, and if so, when and what was done. One Passion did not respond to our inquiry. The only employees listed on One Passion's 2021 990 tax form are Steve Lawson and his daughter Grace Ann Bowles, who serves as One Passion's ministries coordinator and vice president. Okay, so here's a screenshot of One Passion Ministries from their website. It says, "We exist to ignite a supreme passion for God and His glory." Steve Lawson's wife, Ann Lawson, received $30,000 from One Passion, according to the 990, but the only position mentioned for her is as director of One Passion, which is a non-staff position. The money paid to Steve and Ann Lawson, as well as Grace Ann Bowles, account for about 70% of the total $557,668 paid by One Passion in salaries and other compensation in 2021. On October the 20th, John MacArthur discussed the Lawson scandal in a Q&A session at Grace Community Church. The 85-year-old pastor said he believed God was purifying his church by exposing Lawson, but did not mention the Master's University and Seminary graduate Lawson was involved with. He also called on Grace Community Church to band together in the crisis. "We got to circle the wagons," MacArthur said, "because when we are exposed like that, all the enemies are going to come at us with a vengeance. And if they can pit us against each other, I suppose it should read put us. And if they can put us against each other, they can do some real damage." Okay, that's the end of the article. As me not being a Calvinist, not holding to tulip and most of the Reformed doctrines, there are some that I do agree with, and also like Sola Scriptura, etc. Anyways, yeah, it's always for me very funny or strange when I read Calvinists say stuff like, God is purifying his church when someone got pointed out in their church, which they believe God sovereignly decreed to commit the sin they committed. So God decreed for them to commit sin, and now God is also decreeing for them to have this sin brought to the light. It doesn't really make sense, but in a non-Calvinist world, it does make sense. One where you just have free will, and you do whatever you want, because God gave you free will to love Him freely or to reject Him. It's your choice. But Jesus died for everyone. John 3:16 tells us, "And whosoever believes shall not perish but have everlasting life." Let me know your thoughts regarding this. Do you think that this lady that Steve Lawson had this affair with should be named in public, that her identity should be made public? I don't think so. I think there's a reason why we have elders, and the church should deal with this. She should repent, and someone should walk a path with her. Everything is not there to be brought into the public's eye. With Steve Lawson is different because he was a teacher, he had an international presence, he had a big influence over probably millions of people, and he was preaching things that he was not doing. He was preaching against sexual immorality and so forth while he was having this affair. Anyway, like always, we should pray for him. And there's still grace, and there's always time for repentance. Yeah, so pray for him. Pray for this lady. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? And yeah, till next time, blessings in Jesus. Bye.